To my partner in crimes, Reginald. Today I have the joy and pleasure to bring you a build that creates more problems than the late Prime Minister. As you may be aware of the Eurofalcon Harbor, the Gear Falcon's hammock, how the hell do you say it?
Gerfalcon's Hauberk.
You're kidding, right?
Unfortunately, I am not.
Of course. Anyway, this chess piece has been making a few waves in the Crucible since its release. Approximately a month back, however, it was disabled for a reason that I still have yet to truly understand. But it's back! Like a clingy, emotionally immature ex-girlfriend, this fiendishly powerful and demonically hard-to-pronounce exotic is on a rampage, utterly tearing apart Guardians, limb by limb. Reginald, I bring before you today 3 different builds, all of which express a different and increasingly stronger variant of this meta-breaking exotic. One build that makes the Rat King into a permanent damage-buffing invis chaining ninja. One that shows how to use this chess piece to make a primary weapon one-shot. And I shall conclude our letter with a build on how to counter it. I am not going to waste your time explaining how this chess piece works. There are many other commoners that can do that for you. Rather, I want to focus on how to break it. Build 1. King's Fang 3.0. This first build shall establish for ourselves an arbitrary baseline for which we can judge the rest of our invisibility, uncoring, and discount damage buffing builds. This build uses the Rat King, a common choice for this exotic, especially since the recent sidearm range buffs, a precision frame bow, and the mechanized trick sleeves. I need you to understand the gravity of this next statement. This build scored a 60-kill game before the buffs. Yes, this footage you are seeing here is all previous to the dowry of range and consistency that has gripped the most recent meta in a flood of one-handed death penalties. And even though my later dissertations will detail builds with theoretically more power, I hold steadfastly that this build is the pinnacle of invisibility-abusing, rage-inducing, and enemy-confusing proficiency. The setup is simple. Lead with a precision frame bow shot somewhere in the facial region of your enemy, and use the mechanized trick sleeves to swap lightning fast into the Rat King for cleanup. Because your kills will most likely be from your Rat King and every engagement is started with your 150 damage bow headshot, you can easily chain invisibility from person to person. And God save your foes if you have the Rat King's catalyst. Once you learn this build spacing, no man, woman, or Cheeto-fingered Reddit-whining child shall be safe from your plague! For every build we shall demonstrate today, we will use this exact layout of aspects and mods, but I am sure you are contemplating to yourself. Is this the first build and they are meant to get stronger? How possibly can this scale further? Now let's put on the Gerfalcon. Your never-failing piercing clairvoyance has likely noticed a few of our bow shots from the last build were dealing more than the standard headshot damage. This stems from the single greatest perk to have ever graced our bow-swapping hands: Harmony. And look, I understand that you may have your ethical concerns or doubts, thinking something stupid like I would never stoop as low as using such villainy such as this. This is too low for even me to stoop. Well, when you recover from such idiocracy and realize the world doesn't wait on people who play fair, allow me to show you this next build. With the simple change of swapping our trick sleeves for the Gerfalcons, we can set up a guaranteed one-shot damage stacking combo. Our same melody of destruction replays like before. Bowshot, quick access sling and dexterity mod augmented swap into our Rat King for cleanup. Reload for invisibility. Swap back to the bow for round 2, and 3, and 4. This time, however, we have options. With our newfound powers of 15% damage buff, we can either continue our spree of death, leaving nothing but broken keyboards and controllers in our wake, or we can do the funny With both Harmony and Gerfalcon's perk armed, ready and fire a bolt at the cranium of the low-life pawn scum that dared to consider himself your equal. And watch as his lifeless corpse immediately sinks to the floor as the 200 damage headshot sends him to God's waiting room. There is a tad bit of nuance to getting this setup to constantly trigger. First, of course, you will need to make sure that your Rat King was the previous source of your invisibility. Otherwise, you won't have Harmony stacked with your Gerfalcons for the insta-kill. In other words, you will need at least one kill without the damage stacking before you can start the engine of destruction. Secondly, because your bow will be the sum total of the life expectancy of your enemy, you won't be able to chain the damage buff into multiple kills. Thusly, only pull out this combo when you need to instantly down a target, or when you need a shot of dopamine for the funnies. Lastly, in order to initiate the Gerfalcon's damage, you will need to either wait till your current invis ends, or fire a shot into the ground to break it. From there, you only have 3 seconds to make your primary ammo one-shot dreams come true. But now, let's play the drug dealer of the Crucible. And present a build that in itself is both your enemy's problem and their solution. Build 3. For our last violation of the Crucible's Geneva Convention, we will yet again be donning the Gerfalcon, yet this time our exotic weapon of choice is its counter, the Wishender. While this exotic bow has long since its creation been an outcast for being a generally poor damage option, now it has come back with a vengeance. The inherent utility of this bow's exotic perk, which grants us free wall hacks with a fully drawn arrow, works beautifully with the free damage bonus we receive from our chest piece. You see, this wall hacking will outright ignore the invisibility effects of other Guardians, allowing you to predict the decisions of your opposition even before they themselves make them. Yet again, we will abuse the quick-swapping power of a quick-access sling sidearm for our more mid-range cleanup. But unfortunately, without our Rat King nor our Harmony perk, we won't be able to abuse the same ludicrously broken combos from our last 2 builds. Perhaps this is for the best. I mean, could you imagine the trauma we would be able to cause if we were able to both one-shot bow headshot and chain invisibility and have a near-instant swap speed for cleanup? But there is one way to have your cake and eat it too. There is a third source of bonus damage we can acquire. A source hated by the Sweat Lords who continue to hang on to the fantasy of Destiny 2 being a competitive game. The Charge with Light mods. This damage buff can stack with non-armor damage bonus sources such as Harmony. This then allows the first build full access to our arsenal of one-shots if we can consistently source Orbs of Light. And what better way to do that than the Fragment Echo of Harvest? With this, whenever we kill a target with a headshot while they are weakened from our smoke, they will graciously give us an Orb of Light. Oh, and did I forget to mention a weakened target with our Gerfalcon damage bonus as a guaranteed one-shot from the Wishender? Ah yes, my villainy is truly a spectacle that makes horror stories about PvP spread like wildfire. I need you to make sure never to subscribe to my letters, or heaven forbid share it with others. If they found out about our villainy, we may catch yet another attempted nerf. In the meantime, let me read you some of my favorite fan letters from the comments. It's not enough that I should succeed. Others should fail. Kevin Chang. This Kevin character knows what he's talking about. You clearly aren't spending enough time on the respawn screen. I'd like to think I'm being generous by giving all the time to the other players. We don't talk about Winter's Guile. If you expected a Disney sing-along, you're sorely mistaken. Disney still hasn't answered our calls. Skedaddle skadoodle, your dick is now a noodle. I have no comment for this. Archibald Multitool the 7th.